I told you, egg savior. Stop spying on me while I pump. That is my content time.
I wasn't spying, Coco. I was just passing by. You're always accusing me of nefarious stuff. It's always egg savior this, egg savior that. It's never egg savior you're a great husband or eggs your butt looks nice in those leggings. You never want to have any fun. I just wanted to go to Chili's. It's not my fault the cicadas attacked you the other day on the sidewalk.
Fine, eggs. We will go to stupid Chili's for lunch. But I'm tired of you wasting the sponsors' donations on bogus food. We deserve food from the Gwen and Kong dog. Now before we go, I must tinkle and finish pumping. Table for two, please. My husband is outside finishing his fent.
Great. Any kids' menus for you today, ma'am? Your table is right this way. Follow me.
Where's Egg Savior?
Sorry I'm late, dear. That fent had me passed out in the alley with the boys for quite some time. And for some reason there's now a hole in my leggings just like yours.
You should be focusing on your music, eggs. Not fent. You used to be so good.
How can I focus on music when you threw out my keyboard?
Stop bitching, eggs. There's other ways to curate music. Use a tambourine.
You suck.
Oh yeah? Well, so does your music.
I'm tired of you insulting my artistic curations.
Your art is trash
Shut
as
up,
fuck,
Coco,
Egg
now.
Savior.
At least I'm not the one making voodoo dolls of my ex because I can't let go of the past. It's mental warfare.
Shut up before I punch you, eggs. You don't know what you're talking about. Now shut your mouth so I can find something to order.
I could really go for a grilled cheese, Coco. Hey, did I tell you about that one time I passed out in the alley and woke up with a grilled cheese from the sponsors and well, you get the gist. They kidnapped me and implanted a button somewhere under the grilled cheese. But have the sponsors donated anything else today, dear?
The money I receive from the sponsors is my money, eggs. Get your own sponsors.
I need to tinkle.
Hurry up. We are supposed to visit baby Rico after this.
Here you go, ma'am. 1 order of popcorn shrimp and an order of egg rolls. Is there anything else I can get for you?
No, you can leave now. Where's Egg Savior? He's missing out. This popcorn shrimp looks delectable.
Food critic here. I'll take that. Just need to test if it's tap water.
I don't care who you are. You can't just come and take my water when I've been drinking from a fire hydrant all day. I am a full-time mother of 4. You cannot steal from me. This is erroneous.
I'm just a broke food critic, ma'am. Take a chill pill.
Magically, I don't give a fuck, sir. You stole my water. I just want my Cadillac CTS back and to be paid handsomely for the things that have been taken from me.
I wish I was paid too.
We are not the same, sir. You can look up my story on Simstagram at Coco Chanel YSL.
Is this you right here ranting? Wow. You need major help, girl. I mean, you are crazy. I mean, look at these comments. No one likes you.
Well, you look like some sort of prehistoric freak. This all started with my felon ex Dylan Y12173. The old ball and chain. If you go back on my Simstagram highlights, you'll see the full story. I've been bludgeoned, raped, abused and stabbed 11 times with a screwdriver. This is serious, sir. And now I'm married again to a fent head. Why do these things keep happening to me? And where the hell is Egg Savior at? I'll bet he's outside doing fent again.
Fuck my life and my job. I'm so sick of these homeless people.
Oh, hi.
I told you, Egg Savior. Stop spying on me while I pump.
I don't know what I'm doing. Hello everybody. How you doing? That is a great video by Heather and Egg Xavier on YouTube. That's the thing. It's also in the description below. I don't know how I missed that last week. They were making like Sims videos like this pretty consistently. I'll get the channel pulled up here so you guys can actually see what else they got. They got a whole bunch of videos. I think I showed one of them back in the day, but I went back and I watched them all. There's all the greatest hits, like the yoga toes. We got the mouse. Remember when the mouse is in the tent, guys? So go show them some love. Go sub to them. I love those videos. Those videos are fucking fun. The cicadas and shit. But I hope you guys are all having a great night. What just fell over there? I don't know. That's fine. Probably cheese strings. Now, hello, everybody. Hello, Kat Johnson, Gretchen, Buffy, Kelly. Got Patricia, Jeff. Jeff, how you doing? Kelly. I seen BCG in here. Sparkle Jump Rope Queen. We got Hendrix Hans, Mud Pit. Great to see you as well. Yeah, so I don't know how I missed that last week. Nicole, Mother Guinea Pigs, the love of my life. Megan, we also got screenshot this. Today, Ryan, how you doing? This is going to be a good week. So this week, Heather went like on TikTok and did like a speed run of how fast she could get banned after getting like live streaming status. I guess she got enough followers to live stream. You know what? I think she already had enough followers to live stream, actually. Thinking back on it, she did used to do a couple TikTok lives, but they would always like freeze. Like the connection would always be like shit out in the tent. So I guess like the hotel Wi-Fi is a little bit better. She was doing these battles with people. I haven't watched much of it, so I'm hoping to get some good stuff. There is a lot of them though. So basically what I'm going to do today is we're only going to watch the lives. I'm going to try to keep it under 2 hours. If we don't get through all of the lives, we'll finish them up tomorrow, and then we'll do like the stories tomorrow as well. Unless like we somehow get through all the lives, and then I actually don't have any of the stories prepped. I can't imagine. The stories are usually pretty bland, and I don't remember there being like that much to record this week, so I don't think we'd be missing much. Also, I don't know how we missed this, but like Xavier's eyebrows, he's had them shaved since May. Like in May, he shaved them off and was sending girls pictures of his glamour shots, which is interesting. So that's where Xavier's eyebrows went. I don't know why Xavier just keeps wanting to look more and more like an interesting person every day, but that's his prerogative. Not without my father. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. So yeah, I got them prepped over here. Let me just get the right window open. Yeah, this is the one. Let's share this one instead. So the thing with these is I'm pretty sure I have them in chronological order. Actually, you know what? I asked BCG if she knew the chronological order, and then I didn't check. I didn't check to see if they messaged me back. So maybe I should have. I can kind of like on the fly. Okay, cool. I can fix this on the fly. I think I have them all. Ooh, there. Oh wait. Do I have the Facebook Live? I do not know. If we don't, like, we can do it tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I do. Anyways, there's a lot, so we'll just get into it. We'll get into it, see what we got. I'm trying to think if there's any other stuff to break down the itinerary with you. I don't think so. Like, she just pissed off a lot of people on TikTok, got banned for scamming, I believe. And I was bitching about it. They are back in full swing. Should be good. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Alrighty. So yeah, let's see what Heather gave us this week. Hopefully gold.
They lived with me full time. Never did I ever imagine I would give birth to a newborn baby.
Let me know how the audio is.
And he would be, separated from me for any amount of time. I had a birth plan. I can't even go into, very detailed explanation of what is going on, but I do have a 4-month-old that we are separated from today. And it is completely inhumane, completely
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Twitter. I forgot she had a Twitter. I don't even know why she has a Twitter. It's on private. And what did she still have like 5 followers, Kim? Or is it more than that? Is she growing her private following at all?
Unlawful. And if there are any attorneys, human rights, civil rights attorneys in the audience, please DM me. But it has been very, very difficult. And I have been forced to see things from a perspective that I don't think anyone should have to see things from.
Oh.
Human beings do not need to suffer. And I know that that's a super controversial viewpoint and perspective. Some of your like military men or like macho guys, or like even some, women who have seen their share of adversity, God knows I have, would disagree. And they would say something like, well, if you don't struggle, you don't appreciate the good times. And I would challenge you to say, really? Are you sure about that? Because
I was talking about her kids. Her kids.
I'm
whoa.
Pretty.
I don't know what. I don't know if you guys saw that. Look, the DVD cases though, the kids.
Be sure that there are people who have never been homeless, raped, beaten.
306 followers. I'm actually impressed. Actually, let me make sure I have the right mic on as well. Yeah, we're good. I'm impressed because the last it was 5. Is she just letting anyone fall? I should have got in there when I could.
Robbed, abused, left for dead in a tent.
She's listing off all the bingos right now. If you guys are playing bingo. Oh my God, why isn't that?
If they're separated unlawfully from their children. I'm pretty sure there are people who have never experienced those things who can.
That is the other thing. So Chrissy actually, so since she was doing TikTok lives, I forgot to say this. I knew I was forgetting something. I don't watch TikTok. I don't have TikTok downloaded. So I don't catch the TikTok lives. They delete like right after, then I get saved. So thank you to Chrissy. There was Xavier's Chocolates, Crazy Train, and Mama Bear. I think were the people that I used to get a majority of the TikTok lives from here. And I'm pretty sure I put y'all in the description. If I missed anyone, let me know. But I think that was it. But no, I appreciate you guys so much because I wouldn't have these if someone weren't sniping them.
And agree that they're grateful that they have not, and who can say I'm successful, and I'm doing great, and I didn't have to go through any of that suffering or adversity to be great. Like when I say pretty sure, I mean positive, that there are people in existence who have not gone through any of that shit. So I really want us to eliminate that from like my little community. We don't need to suffer. No one needs to suffer. If you're here and you're not a nice person, go away, because we have to be nice. Like it is so hard right now. You have no idea. I have seen people struggle in ways that I never, ever knew people could struggle. Just something as simple as putting it into perspective. We jail a person for committing a crime and say that person is a father. And then we think somehow that it will rebuild the father to alienate him from his family.
Maybe it's like padding, Mud Pit. I don't know. Like shoulder pads. Maybe something like that. I can't zoom in with this video player without it like messing up the audio and skipping ahead and backwards. It's really weird. They should really hold on, actually. Do you think if I don't know if I should mess with it. I should probably mess with it in another window or something. We should smooth sail, but I don't know what's going on with that.
To alienate him and ostracize him from society, to, mistreat his family by, making them feel, his children specifically, like they are disadvantaged, even though they are, or unsupported based on their father not being there in the home. We don't offer love.
I forgot about Spider Heather too. I might be able to do some Spider Heather on the fly though, because there's so many lives. Like, can I get the playlist up? Will it show me it? I don't think. I think I have to like expand the thing oddly to see the playlist. Unless I can. No, I can't do it there. That's okay. I think there's at least 9 videos. Actually, what am I doing? I'll just pop open the folder here and we'll see. Because if we get to like a Spider Heather, there's, oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 like so like if we get to a Spider Heather where like she has all that stuff above her, I'll just skip to like the next one and then I'll render it upside down and pop it in and we can do Spider Heather. I don't know how I forgot a Spider Heather again.
And love is not sex. I've said this a million times, but love is what repairs these situations. Not isolation, not, exiling, from normal society. Embracing, creating opportunity, being there for each other, and listening for long enough to understand. I personally still to this day feel like the things I've gone through have been engineered. Curated is another good word to describe them.
Engineered and curated, like the cicadas. Cicadas can't use the elevator. Who put this cicada up here? Must be nefarious. Must be curated and engineered.
I have the education to never have to be homeless, hungry, or unhappy. I have the experience, and not because I got it, just from falling out of bed one day into my wealthy parents' home and into my college tuition. None of that happened for me. My parents were middle class, and I was out of the home by 14 years old. So I was not, outside doing bad things. I was inside, very much inside in a very controlled environment. And I was not permitted to do much growth and socialization in my teenage years.
I've heard rumors. I don't know how true the rumors are, but like that she was doing like lipstick parties or something. Or what is it, rainbow parties? Like basically where like a bunch of promiscuous, I don't know how old she would have been. I guess a teenager would like, I don't like, if you know what it is, you know what it is. I don't know if I can get into it, but I didn't, from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like she was leading a very sheltered life before the Jamaica departure.
I had no experience with drugs, alcohol, crime, nothing like that. And I was just in a very, very different type of environment during those years. I, at 17, paid my own rent with roommates, never went back into my parents' home after that, had children, worked in factories, worked in retail, put myself through college, took out, student loans, put myself into debt, and did so while raising children and working full time. So I'm not privileged. I may have been at one point, or maybe in certain areas I am still privileged, but for the most part, I
don't know. I don't even know why she's going on about privilege. She's white. She's got some white privilege, I guess. The reaction to the cicadas, like, I love how when Heather stops to do something and they're like on a mission, like they're going to see the kid or whatever, like Xavier doesn't know what to do with himself. He just like kind of walks around aimlessly like an NPC until she's like, all right, I'm done bitching about the cicadas. We can trek on. And then he's like, all right, like it's crazy to me. Not without my father. Thank you for the 5. I believe it is non-engineered love. Jamaica. And
I got it out of the mud too. I got it alone. I went from being institutionalized at 16 years old to on my own at 17 years old. So I get it, and I'm 37 now, and I've been in my own apartment my entire life until 2020, at which point in time I had some domestic abuse issues, lost my apartment. My significant other at the time was able to keep my apartment, even though he had no children. My children had to go live with their fathers, and I had to be with nowhere to go. I was earning money at the time from a reality show that I appeared in briefly. And I was earning money driving DoorDash, and I was earning money selling content, and I was earning money in pretty much any way I could, hustle up money. I was selling sunglasses. I was doing, so many different things. I was selling renewable energy. I was taking any job I could get. I worked temp jobs for Amazon.
Christiane is weird. It's weird that like, especially in her Instagram lives and stuff, and this is a TikTok live, I guess, maybe, probably. It's like they just for no reason. They just did it for no reason. But then like Love After Lockup, because I've watched Love After Lockup now. She was like, it was because I confronted my stepfather about how he was treating my mother. I didn't appreciate how he was talking to her. And then they sent me away. And I was like, what? So she made herself seem like a valiant hero in that scenario. But now it's just like there was no reason. She was just like, a good kid, not misbehaving at all. And they were just like, fuck you, Heather. Go to Jamaica. But I don't know. Yeah, Heather lies all the time, so you never know what is true and what isn't, right?
In the factory warehouse, 12-hour shifts. So I was doing all of this really tremendous work.
Oh, yeah. I remember her hustling blue blockers.
And it was...
They help you ride your motorcycle at night.
Exhausting. And it still wasn't enough to prevent my ultimate homelessness. And that's why I say I feel as though the situation was engineered. I feel like God or someone wanted me on the level of those who don't have an education, don't have an income, maybe have a criminal record.
That was another story I forgot. Thank you, P Street. She also said that it was because she got caught smoking a cigarette that she got shipped to Jamaica. Seems like a huge overreaction. Like, let's say, I'm just trying to put myself in the parents' shoes. I'm imagining the retreat to Jamaica costs money because it's in another fucking country, and it's like a camp where they have to feed and look after her, right? That's a huge dent in my pocket and overreaction, and probably not a good way to raise your kid. Just for smoking a cigarette, like that's crazy to me. But you know, it's Heather. It's Heather. Chrissy, thank you for the 10. Feral Friday fun. Thanks, Steven. No worries. I gotta do Feral. I was away for a whole week, guys. Sorry about that. I'm back now. Or maybe I'll always be here on Friday. Always be here on Friday at least. But I do need to do like cups for the members tomorrow. I'll do something like extra maybe. Because I missed last week. And I'm gonna reinvent the channel. We'll do something super fancy.
Record and are out here with no way. I feel like God, or it could be some real person or group of people, have curated or engineered these circumstances because, and I've heard this before, and I won't repeat from who, but from a group of people that refer to themselves as refugees, they say when a white girl who has an education is outside in a tent being raped and yelling out for help and there's no assistance for her, what chance is there for assistance for everyone else? And that really hurt my heart because number one,
I thought she was gonna say that the refugees, whoever the fuck they are, told her that God or a group of nefarious people were curating these things against her, like the cicadas in the place. I don't know. She's a little extra loopy tonight. I didn't. But yeah, mother of guinea pigs, the Blue Blocker store. So basically, she was like bragging about how she was a hustler and stuff, how she was like selling water at Taylor Swift concerts, overpriced water, you know, just like being in the right place at the right time, I guess. And she was like, I could sell anything though. She's like, I got all these blue blockers. No one wanted them for like seeing on the computer. No one gave a fuck. So she's like, I went to a motorcycle convention and convinced them that it was like glasses to help you see better at night. I don't know if blue blockers actually do that, but she marketed them like that. They're like, these are glasses, and they're not like shades or anything, but they just look like this, but they're blue blockers, and they'll help you drive better at night. And apparently she sold out of them. I don't know if that story is true or not, but that is the blue blocker story.
No one should be outside in a tent being sexually assaulted. No one. Not a white girl, not a brown girl, not a black girl, not a yellow girl, not an orange girl or boy. No one. Ever. No one should be inside being sexually assaulted. But most certainly,
I am all good. I will let Megan know.
No one should be, you know, being outside reporting these issues and asking for help and being ignored. It just should not happen. Now, who can get help from these situations if someone with an education, papers to be in this country, family members, advocates, significant others, people who know me, and there are a lot of them. I worked in the nightlife and promotions. I was on a, short appearance on a show, sold content, worked in a lot of different capacities. So I had a bunch of relationships. I go to church. I, have students.
Underage drinking might be the other actual reason that she went to Tranquility Bay as well. Yeah, Tranquility Bay is the one. She's been posting about Tranquility Bay recently. I think last week she was making some posts about Tranquility Bay because they were covering it in like Facebook or something. And they showed that in Love After Lockup as well. They're like, poor Heather Gillespie. And then like in this scene where like she had moved on from Dylan, she's doing like this photo shoot, but in the lighting of the photo shoot, it says like Mrs. Y12 fucking his inmate number. So she's not gonna I'm moving on from Dylan by doing a photo shoot with his fucking inmate number across my body.
Students that I went to school with, so co-students, what are they called? Peers, co-workers at all of the jobs I worked at. I worked at Northwestern Hospital, just on the block from where I currently live, in Shelter. Thousands of people know me, and they know that I'm capable and intelligent. And if those people know me and know that I'm capable and intelligent, and I haven't been able to find my footing, that there's a good chance that there's an entire demographic other than me who maybe doesn't have the education, who maybe, doesn't have the articulation or ability to communicate, who don't have.
I heard a wild Xavier. I don't know if you guys did. He's back there doing something.
The experience, and what for them if this for me, right? And that's not to say I'm better than anyone. That's to say that people are coming from various degrees of adversity, oppression.
Is the tranquility-based story real? I mean, I have reason to believe it's real just because, like, I would maybe this is a crazy assumption. I would assume Love After Lockup would like at least look into that a bit before like plastic their show and stuff. But I might be naive, you know. I don't know how much fact checking they actually did, but as far as I'm aware, like because her aunts, right, that she was staying with would have saw the show as well, and if like it wasn't true, I'm sure they would have been like, "What the fuck?" So just because like I didn't see any conflicting stories from anyone else, I'd have to say it's real. One of the few things that's actually real, like the bludgeoning as well with the tire iron, is real. I was surprised when I read the police report and that was real, but she like didn't want to identify the guy the second time because the first time when they went in with the laptop to say like you got to identify this guy out of the lineup, the laptop wasn't working. So then the second time around, she was like, "Fuck you, I'm Heather Gillespie. We do shit on my time." And then like the guy, nothing came of it. But anything else like the stabbed 11 times, that's hugely exaggerated and not accurate at all. So it's weird sometimes. There's a little bit of truth to what she's saying,
and coincidental circumstances along with environmental stresses, abuses, etc., and so forth. And when you look at someone like myself and say, well, if that person can't make
Your Highness, how you doing?
it, what chance is there for a person with zero education? What chance is there for, I have no criminal record. If I can't make it, what chances are there for someone who does have a criminal record, right? And so I look at these situations and circumstances. Let's say you messed up when you were a kid or when you were young. You made a mistake. We all have. Raise your hand.
She is banned on TikTok. Or we're doing the school thing. Raise your hand of what, Heather?
Or give some love to the post if you've ever made a mistake in your life, right? We all have made mistakes. We're all guilty of making mistakes. Most of us, some of us, a few of us will not get caught depending on the various degrees of the mistakes we're making. And some of us will get caught. And for that means that the person sitting next to you who maybe just got out of prison, there's a chance that they may have done something very similar to what you've done.
And Stacey could have, maybe, I don't remember, to be honest. I haven't seen Stacey in a while. She used to come in the chat and stuff. So she could have possibly maybe said that, yes. And Stacey has, okay, yes. So BCG saying and Stacey has confirmed many times, yes. So yeah, yeah. So I don't know why. If I were her family member, right, I would probably lie about that if anything. So if they're saying it's true, I don't know why they would be lying about it, right? So I think it's probably true.
And you never went to prison. You have no criminal record, right? So I have no criminal record. I have an education. I have 4 children, a baby, a newborn baby, a 10-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 17-year-old who I've been the primary parent of all the way from the day they were born in 2006 all the way till 2020. And from then on, I had to parent them over the phone and, with visits here and there and a few times a week. But I want nothing more than to be with them. Do I think that I'm unique in that? Absolutely not. Do I think that most people, when given the opportunity, want to be with their kids? Yes, I do. So
But that has nothing to do with why you can't see the kids, is because like you test positive for drugs, and probably Xavier did too. I don't know. I don't even know if they would test Xavier, if they would care. Maybe, I don't know. But Brian, thank you for the 10. Hope you had a fun week off. And selfishly, that Megan's still trying to find a girlfriend for me. I will ask her. I'll ask her today. I'm sure she is if she said she was.
When we're faced with the moral dilemma of saying things like to all the real moms or the real dads, I really challenge you to take a step back and really be grateful if you were able to wake up in the same house as your children. If you were able to wake up in the same house as your children today, thank God for it, and be grateful for that. Because I never in a million years, I would have bet my life on it. Never thought that I would be separated from my children. I am a selfless mother. I am a great mother. There's nothing I wouldn't do for them. but yet here I am. And I'm sure there are so many fathers out there in the crowd who can agree, you know. And when you are separated from your family dynamic and from your children, and you have to leave them in the care of others, you go through your own struggle. So do the kids. You know, I texted my Xavier's mom today and I said, hey, can you please?
That would be, I guess, your mother-in-law as my Xavier's mother today, right? Whoa. What'd she say?
Give us a call. Let Xavier speak with my child. I said,
well, does that mean like Xavier's mom has the child? Is that what you're saying, Heather?
this is unfair for my son and for your son. So this isn't just about the dad.
Has she ever said that public? I don't even know if she said that publicly before.
This is about the children as well. And I'd like to share a story. My own personal father, I do this a lot. I share a lot of my own personal experience, and there is a lot of risk associated with doing so. But I think that it is a calculated risk that I need to take for the betterment of society as a whole. And being a public figure, so to speak, going on these lives and being vulnerable and saying.
Is it ironic that she has to ask her baby daddy's mom to see permission to see her child? Where's your mom?
Things that matter, that are meaningful. It carries risks of its own, but if no one does it, then how do we fix these issues, and how do we, better our own lives and the lives of those around us? If you guys can send roses, please send roses, or holding hand hearts, please send them. I greatly appreciate it. But my own father.
Well, that's great. She doxed the caseworker and let it out that ex-mother was the foster mother. Well, I mean, she's her own worst enemy, bro. Like, why? What? This is information that I wouldn't want people knowing, right? She doesn't make life easier on herself, I'll tell you that.
Father and my mother divorced and I need to pump breast milk right now, so I'm going to move the camera, but I'm going to tell you guys this story. My own father and mother divorced when I was about 11 or 12 years old. Maybe, no, not 13. I think I was 11, 5th grade, however old you are in 5th grade. And my father got drunk one day. He had a job working at Public Works, doing, I think it was a union job. I don't really recall, streets and sanitation department. And he got drunk after work one day and got pulled over on his motorcycle. And he wasn't drunk to the point where he couldn't drive or he was swerving or anything like that. My father, he was a big man. He knew how to drink. He knew how to handle a few beers, but he had a few beers and he drove home depressed following this divorce with my parents, and he got fired. He got fired from his job of like 10, 20 years, something like that.
Because he was drunk driving?
That he was there forever, like over a decade. And
is she trying to justify drunk driving? I'm not sure if I'm following it, but like, yeah, you'd probably get fired if you're driving drunk at the job.
And all of a sudden, you see my father, who's always been a provider to us, along with my mother. My mother was always a hard worker, working one or more jobs my whole life. But you see my father, who goes from being a full-time employee and doing hard manual labor, sweating out in the streets, freezing out in the cold, snow plowing the streets in the middle of the night, whether it was 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., filling the potholes that we drive on. And you see.
Yeah, just like his sperm's bulletproof, right? You think after the bulletproof sperm incident, she would learn. I heard that she was trying for another kid. After this whole experience, after the experience with the twins, and then this experience, you think she'd be like, I need to get my shit together before I have another kid. How many kids will this be? This will be like, she has 4, she'll be 5 kids. 5 kids. Heather Gillespie having 5 kids. Let that sink in.
You see him go into this very depressive state as he loses his family. He lived in the house with me, my sister, my mother, and now he had to live in an apartment by himself. And no one in the midst of the divorce says, oh gosh, I feel bad for that guy and that mom and those kids. They just say, well, they're getting a divorce, that's life. And no one really puts it into perspective that this person who has lived in stability, in the stability and comfort of a family unit, is now all alone, and what they must be going through. Now, on top of that, he loses his job, and that's his income. How terrifying to be separated from your family, your children, your wife, and not have enough money in the bank to pay rent for more than 2 or 3 months. And now you have child support to pay. And guess what they did to my father, you guys? Guess what they did? Anyone know what they do if you're struck with tragedy and you can't pay child support? Because what sense does it make to think that a man would not want to pay?
There's a bunch of deadbeat dads that don't pay child support, that don't want to pay child support. What do you mean? What are you talking about, Heather? Are you just say like this is the whole like universal income? If anyone had unlimited, well, yeah, well then you wouldn't need, if there was unlimited money at a universal income and you could just have an ATM that took unlimited money out, you wouldn't even need the guy to give you child support, would you? Would you, Heather? So like, I don't fucking know. This is gonna be a weird one. Look at her face. She's revving up. She's getting ready.
Who doesn't want to take care of their children? No one doesn't want to. Everyone wants to take.
How many children are you taking care of out of 5 right now? Or wait, we're only at 4. Oh my God. She is like a sim, just popping kids out.
Care of their children. Everyone wants to have enough money to be okay themselves and also make their children okay. Everyone wants that. There aren't really people in the world who say, I have money, but fuck those kids. No, that doesn't.
Yeah, there is. There's people who do that. I don't want to spread misinformation or anything, but I heard, so this is like a, I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to preface that, but I heard that like Jackie Chan had an illegitimate kid with like another woman that he's not married to. And they were trying to get child support from him, and he was like, fuck him. I don't know. I'm not doing it. And he's rich, and I think he's not leaving like anything in his will to his kids either, because it's like they gotta work for, you know, their life. Yeah. I think he's giving away to charity or something. Again, I don't know how accurate that is. So like Jackie Chan, maybe he is a great dad, even to his illegitimate children. Maybe he doesn't have an illegitimate child. But I'm saying there is people out there, even rich people, who don't fucking want to take care of their kids.
Doesn't exist, you know? So I'm sorry, but for a lot of the extreme, stuffy thinkers in the group, that doesn't exist, you guys. People want to take
Should I Google, is Jackie Chan a good dad? Question mark.
care of their responsibilities. They do. They really do. They grow frustrated. They grow tired. You know, they do. And so my father could not pay child support. And because my mother and father had divorced in the court, like you must do during a divorce, the court had established a child support be paid through the court system, and then they would give the money to my mother.
All right. So a Google search of, is Jackie Chan a good dad? This is what he says. Notably, he remained aloof and didn't even speak with his son for a long time. This was his Asian upbringing that prevented Chan from sheltering the wrongdoer. Though Chan was a strict father, he always pulled up his son in bad times. As he wrote, I'm not a good dad, but I'm a responsible dad. This doesn't answer any of my questions, or like the story that I just told you guys doesn't really fact check that. So I don't know why I just read all that. But we learned something about Jackie Chan today, kind of. That's good. It's good to learn things, you know. Although my father, thank you for the 5. You're a sweet couple, but sometimes parents suck and people lie. Who are we talking about? Xavier and Heather? Sometimes parents suck and people lie. I might have been... I have to catch up on your comments here. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
And so my mother could not protect my father. When those payments stopped coming in, they arrested my father and threw my father in jail in DuPage County. They suspended his license, fired him from his job, and then said, oh, you don't have money for child support? Well, we know we suspended your license and we know you don't have a job, but you're going to jail. Now, what do you think that was like for my sister and I? What do you think that was like for my sister and I?
I don't think like you get a pass on the rules if you're going through a hard time. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you don't get preferential treatment because bad stuff's happening to you, unfortunately, right? You can't just be drunk driving on the job, expect nothing to happen. Yeah, okay. Whoa. My thing's going fast tonight. Wow.
Missing Father's Day with my father because he was in jail for not paying child support. Missing holidays with my father because he was in jail.
Oh, that's a good pull, actually. Because Jackie Chan's like, I'm a shit, apparently.
Not because he murdered
But he's responsible. I mean, he never lived in a tent.
someone or broke into someone's house, but because he couldn't pay. A victim of poverty. How sad, you know? And my sister and I, we suffered. The children, we suffered. But at any point in time, did I consider my father not a real father? Never. Never, not once. Never. I know there are fathers who don't answer the phone when their kids answer, or fathers who are struggling with drug or alcohol abuse, or
I seen David Spade get mentioned somewhere in the chat as well. Is David Spade a bad dad who doesn't pay child support? Should I put him in the poll too? Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. Is that Tommy C? I'm really behind on chat, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna assume everyone's being good people. The Nefarious Day, thank you for becoming a member. I can't find the David Spade comment. I'll throw David Spade in there, and if he doesn't make sense, then just ignore him.
or fathers who, you know, are just not there for their children the way their children need them to be. And my heart goes out to those children, and my heart goes out to those fathers. And I hope that with all of the evolution of society and technology, we continue to grow in a direction that allows all of us to be there for one another, most certainly parents, fathers, and mothers for their children, and that government intervention is only in an effort to aid that communication, never to inhibit it, never to inhibit it. If there is a problem or an alleged problem of abuse, and I really don't, I'm letting you know, abuse is, there is no one who is never abused. There is no one. If someone gives you an attitude at 7-Eleven when you check out, that's abuse now.
Judge Judy wouldn't say that's abuse. Judge Judy would say, stop wasting her time, and that you're abusing her or harassing her. What? If someone gives you attitude at 7-Eleven, that's abuse? I don't know.
Well, they hurt my feelings, and
Heather hurts a lot of people's feelings, and she's very aggressive, abrasive, not a kind of, I think by Heather's own definition, I'd say Heather's abusive. I wouldn't, but she would, apparently.
And I feel you. It hurts me too. But we've gotten so, it used to be where our parents would spank us and no one would care. Well, what did you do? You got spanked. That's what happens when you're bad. Now, if someone takes a poor tone with us in public, we feel abused and we feel harmed. And we have taken intervention in a route where we're not prepared, my generation, younger generations, we're not prepared to deal with adversity. I am not prepared to deal with anything that makes me anxious. Things that make me anxious literally bring tears to my eyes and cripple me to the bed. I have not been out of the house to do something.
Is this the new angle? Like, I can't work, guys. Things give me anxiety and I'm crippled in bed. I mean, yeah, that's life. That's like, can I do this? Can I just be like, I'm not getting out of bed, guys. I'm not doing it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Fun or interact with the general public other than church and going on visits with my children.
So the Narcotics Anonymous meetings, the visit silly kids that you're not supposed to see. I don't know about the new one, but you're not supposed to see the other ones. Yeah, pretty much all the other stuff. Other than that, she was staying in the tent. It's not much has changed. She just has a roof over her head now.
In probably close to 3 years. I am anxious. We are living in an anxious society. But
Oh, David Spade's dad is the bad dad. So if you vote for David Spade, I'm just going to assume you're voting for David Spade's dad. That's what, just pretend it says that.
we talk about abuse, especially between parents and their children, or what we classify as abuse, a spanking, things of that nature. I'm not saying I'm an advocate of that. I'm simply saying, why would we not allow the parent to, at the very least, continue relationships with their child on the phone, on video chats? Why would we separate parents and children? What is wrong with us?
What is the next generation after Z or Z? Zed. That's a Canadian thing. Yeah, because like X, Y, Z, are we gonna go like to the numbers now? Or are we gonna go 1, 2, 3? Have we really gone through that many generations since we've been keeping track of them? Like A, B, C, D. I guess we've been keeping history for a while. I don't know.
Government intervention should only come in an effort.
We just cycle back around to alpha. That's pretty lackluster.
To increase parent and child communication, to reunify the family, not to push them farther apart. Love is the answer, not sex. Love.
What was that noise? Did you guys hear that noise in the background? It sounded like an old modem booting up or something. I think I can go back in this. Hold on. Let me see if we can catch that again.
The family, not to push them farther apart. Love is the.
Did you? What was that? What are you guys doing in there? It's fucking weird. Weird to me. Now that my father, thank you for the 20 tears. I struggled for mine. She doesn't understand what struggling for children is. People still send her money. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that she had 9 months. Like, you got pregnant, and then for 9 months, you put on this show like you were trying to get help when you really weren't. You were refusing any actual help. And you put that kid's life in jeopardy by living in the tent like that, by also doing drugs, like admitting to doing at least weed. God knows what else, because sometimes there's no way that she was just on weed. I'll put it that way. Like some of the lives that she did where she was like talking to the heater and stuff. Like she was talking to the fucking space heater. And then also, even when they had a space heater, we still used like air dryers to heat up the tent, air dryers to cook their food. No. Like she's not, she positions herself like that. And it's a really shitty way to, I'd say, con mothers who have actually been through hard times with their kids into giving her money because they think like they're actually going to help her. And then she'll be like, where are my sponsors at? Oh, there's some other lore from this week, but we'll wait till we get to it.
Is the answer, not sex. Love. Acts of kindness, acts of generosity. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to be in a position. I'm not in a position to be generous to others right now. I have nothing almost, but I could tell you this. If I had a bottle of water in my.
She put on some crazy, like fluorescent red lipstick sometime during this week as well. Do you think that's what brought the simps? Maybe this whole TikTok experience was to get more simps. She needs better sponsors. The current sponsors are not sponsoring enough,
my purse and I saw someone on the train who looked like they were thirsty, I might offer it to them. That is an act of generosity.
Honestly, like if I had a hairdryer company or whatever, and Heather used my hairdryer in that tent, I would literally market that. They'd be like, how do we know your hairdryer is the best? I'd be, don't who Heather Gillespie is? Yeah, that shit would not quit. Fucking yeah, strongest in the game. You're right, Nicole.
And you don't have to always be taking from the only thing you have to give to someone else so that you remain in lack. You have to be intelligent about what you can provide to people. But on this Father's Day especially, I really want to stress the fact that when we judge fathers and mothers who maybe parent different from us or who maybe don't have as much time with their children as other parents do, we are doing an injustice not only to those people that we judge, but to ourselves. And God has a funny way of putting us in alignment with the people who we've judged.
Jared and Lucan, thank you for becoming a member. I'm gonna put some new member stuff up this week.
A funny way. Not really that funny. So rather than saying something like, well, that person's not a real father or mother, maybe, make some content about, or make a comment about, ways that they can increase their amount of FaceTime with their child or their amount of interaction. Maybe some fun and low cost methods of communication like letter writing or picture drawing or other tokens of appreciation that make our children and our fathers and our mothers feel loved and appreciated, and our grandparents. The parents and the children should never be separated from one another, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Causing that sort of estrangement, it harms a person for the rest of their life. And I have interaction with and experience in dealing with adults who are very damaged, very, very, very unhealthy, very toxic, who I cared for and felt bad for because they were abandoned as children. And some of them, their parents wanted them. Their parents wanted them. So what I think we really need to remember in everything that we go through on Father's Day and every other day.
I am kind of we're still on the first live. We're almost an hour in, and there's like 9 lives. Like, I don't know. There's gonna be a fucking it's gonna be one tonight.
Is that it might take a community, it might take a village, so to speak, to raise the child. But
he's now a third of a year old, not a quarter.
Head of that village should always be the parent. And I don't care if that parent is addicted, if that parent is inflicted, if that parent is affected.
If that parent is a serial killer who wants to kill their kid. What are we doing here, Heather? What are we doing? Not without my father. Thank you for the 20. I super appreciate you.
If that parent is poor, if that parent is convicted, I don't care.
Well, I kind of care, especially if depending on what the parent is convicted of.
They should be the head of the village that's taking care of and loving their child. They should have a hands-on involvement in the decisions that go on forever for their child. Period.
With a T, period.
So that's what I've been thinking about this Sunday morning. Hold on, I'm gonna move the camera, you guys, because I need to pump. My breasts are full and I need to pump. But I'm not done with the live. I'm gonna be on here for probably about an hour. Hold on one second. Oh, goodness.
Is that the alarm that I'm hearing? What is this alarm? What is the do? Jared and Lucan, thank you for the 10. I didn't know that I could. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can like these over here, which is really cool. YouTube, like, it always throws new things at me, and I'm always like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Like the reaction things, like I didn't know those exist until like a couple months into it. Sponsor. Thanks for doing what you do, mate. No, I appreciate you guys still showing up. I'm happy to do it. Heather is an enigma, and I'm happy to have some people to watch her with.
Okay. Hi. I was just looking at some.
What is that noise? It just sounds like those like their hand pans or something. They're just like bom 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 bom. It's kind of like what you use for meditation, but it just sounds like a whole bunch of people smacking. Is this Xavier's new track? Is this his new beats? Has he been playing around with some new instruments?
Some videos I took from the really homeless period of my life when we were outside.
The really opposed to the what? The only semi-homeless period?
with no assistance for the last about 2 years. Not because I'm addicted to drugs or alcohol, not because I'm crazy or unwilling to work, for some weird unknown reason, that we would call 311 regularly asking for housing assistance and we would not be provided it. Please be careful. I'm on a live.
I think it is Xavier's music. That's, I don't know, is it their cult music?
So I was looking at some of those videos and gosh, I look terrible in those videos. My face is all swollen and just terrible. I just look really, really bad in those videos. And I was questioning to myself, I was like, why do I look so terrible in these videos? Like,
This is where we should do the spider, Heather. Can I do that? Let me see if I can render a spider, Heather, here and get it pulled back up.
what is going on? You know? Well, there's a lot.
Also, as far as I know, I believe, like, she talks to her dad. She said, at least she says she talks to her dad. And then, like, she complains that they are not letting her talk to her mom. Like, she'll say, like, I'll text my mom from all these different numbers and she won't respond. And they're blocking the messages, even if it's from, like, numbers that she doesn't know exist. So, like, I think her mom just probably changed her number or something. I haven't heard about her parents for a while. She talks more about Xavier's parents these days because they pay, like, the phone bill. They're the only ones that, like, kind of entertain them, I guess. The last time I heard about the dad, I think was like 3 or 4 months ago. Like, she was still pregnant, I think. Oh, wait, no. She did a weather report one time. She's like, watch out for the tornado, guys. I just got off the phone with my dad, and it's going to be a doozy. That was the last time I heard her talk to her about her dad.
There's a lot of things that homeless that makes you think stolen or minds appear deeper than they actually are. Besides the fact that my phone was being hacked a number of times, and that there was a lot of hatred for no reason. I was also actually, let me move my foot down so that I can do this. There we go. Here we go. There was just a lot of hatred and a blatant refusal of anyone to acknowledge that it was going on, right? So in person, if someone stalks you around saying, you're ugly, you stupid bitch, you're this, you're...
It says 4 minutes until Spider Heather is rendered, and I'll flip it. I'll flip it for us.
That police come and they arrest that person, and it's called harassment, and it's a criminal charge, right? So the internet should be and is supposed to be the same way. It's supposed to be the same way. People are not supposed to be able to alter your videos in your phone. They're not supposed to be able to hack your accounts. They're not supposed to be able to stalk you. They're not supposed to be able to...
None of that's happening, by the way. Heather's a little loopy sometimes. I didn't even think about that though either. Like, really homeless. Like, I just thought she meant like more home. Like, there's different levels of homelessness, but I wonder if she was like, I was just thinking being homeless the other time. I was really homeless during this time, kind of thing.
To change your video settings or your, whatever you've got going on. It's supposed to be illegal. It's supposed to be grounds for criminal charges. That's what's supposed to happen if someone does something like that to you. But for me, it was never addressed. To this day, it's never been addressed. I've never been to court as the victim. I've filed numerous charges. I've filed many, many, many police reports. I have never...
It's an interesting way to say you've never... Like, she's been to court, but she's never been to court as the victim. She's always been to court as the aggressor, or like, the person that they need to keep the kids away from. Like, that's not a... I don't know. I wouldn't have said anything about court. It's interesting how she phrased that.
Never been given the respect of any sort of resolution. I've never been given...
Yeah, I gotta catch up on Daisy. I did not see what Daisy's been up to this week.
The human and humane and ethical response that I deserve. Hold on, you guys. I'm starting my pump. And that's troublesome as well. But yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of insight, it has been incredibly difficult. I had this relationship that I was all in for. I'm a victim of, I don't want to call it stupidity or ignorant. I guess ignorance would be the right word. You don't know until you know, right?
And if you don't know, now you know.
Believed in our government, and I believed in and trusted that if someone was a government official, i.e. a state's attorney, and they involved you in a deal with the state, that they would uphold their end of the deal and that you would be protected. I never for a second believed that, I guess I was so naive that I did not believe that extortion could be used by a state's attorney or a detective to get a person to do what they want them to do. If you define extortion in the dictionary, it's something along the line.
Something, okay, we're at 44 minutes right here, so let me grab, I got Spider Heather ready, so I'm gonna see how I can do this. I should be able to just like pop it into the playlist if I do this. We'll see if it wants to cooperate. All right. I want this right here.
The majority of her sister's life, they lived with me full time. Never did I ever imagine I would give birth to a newborn baby and he would be, separated from me for any amount of time. I had a birth plan. I can't even go into, very
43
XYZ. So you should extortion, right? And be used by a state's attorney or a detective to get a person to do what they want them to do.
There we go. We're pretty good. I'll have to like mess with it a bit, but this is good. We can put live chats back up now, and it's not gonna block everything. We won't be. You'll just have to like turn your head upside down if you want to read some comments. But nah, this is good. Now without my father, thank you for the 20. Your mom is so cute. Watching what you do, it was sweet. I miss my own kids. Heather just lies, and she doesn't have them. Yeah, I know. Like she says, she has full custody of her kids. I don't even know what the point of that lie is. Like we can see you don't have your kids, lady. Like. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Rock your marriage, thank you for the 20 as well. She took the deal. She took the the plea deal with the state's attorney using extortion against me. Maybe they were just like, honestly, they felt bad for her. They're like, look, I could make sure you never see your kid again. But if you do like X, Y, and Z, maybe we can let you have one of your 4 kids. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I would hope that they would want families to actually be reunited. So wait, I don't know.
If you define extortion in the dictionary, it's something along the lines of forcing someone to do something that you want them to do by means of threatening or the threat of XYZ. So you say to them, if you don't do this, I will do this. And you make sure that the thing that you'll do is so important to them that they have no choice.
I like how I can still see the teeth upside down.
I.e., take your children from you. Perfect example, right? And so I went along for these years in an effort to do the right things for my family, society, my community. And the more compliant I was, the nastier the chatter became. And what do we mean when we say chatter? We say there are people who are clearly disgusting individuals who have something festering inside them that they will find a person who is at peace who is saying something positive or beneficial, who is making all the effort that they have inside of them to live the best life that they can. And I'm not talking about people living their best life like, woohoo, we're going to get drunk. I'm talking about people living their best life like, oh my gosh, there is a lot of bad going on in this world, and I want to make an active effort to offset that bad. Or people who, like myself, may say, oh my goodness, I posted 100 really raunchy, sexy posts. How can I balance that out? Maybe I should post myself going to the church one time for every time I posted a picture of myself in the nightclub.
Is that what Heather thinks? Because like Heather posts a whole bunch of raunchy like real photos, and now she's posting a whole bunch of stuff going to church. Is that like her thought process? I kind of like Heather upside down. I think like it's interesting. The eyebrows are very, I don't know, they look like that until she was upside down.
Anyone ever think of that? Maybe I should post myself, volunteering, or passing out water or food, or giving a homeless person $1, or making a donation to my church, or showing up the extra mile for, my peer group or my coworkers, or feeding my coworker who forgot their lunch at home, or, any one of these things that we do that are positive, that are not, so commonly posted.
Imagine baby Dave and Meg. Who's Dave? I don't know who Dave is.
We talk about what our impact is on ourselves and on society. If every single one of your posts is in the nightclub getting drunk, what is your influence? What is your message? What are you saying without saying it? No. I don't allow people to join in on the days when the chatter is super negative, because I'm not dumb. And I have no intention at all
that didn't last very long.
Whatsoever in engaging with any sort of nasty, hater, disgusting, abusive, harassing type of people. None whatsoever. On the days when the harassment is at an all-time low, I might consider it. But for now, we're not doing that. But thank you for attempting to join. I really appreciate your thoughts. If they're constructive, put them in the comments. But anyways, that's another thing. So it's Father's Day. I'm just talking while I pump and discussing the situation.
Yeah, so every time she says like my kid on this is the day of, I was gonna say the list is not. Yeah, it's Father. You think she would like want to include Xavier or anything, not just be careful, Xavier. I'm on live stream, so don't do your drugs. That's basically what it is. Don't do your drugs on live stream. We're trying to get our kid back here,
So my son is 17 weeks old tomorrow. My baby, Weston Mateo Gillespie, and we are still in the midst of that situation. In addition to that, I was referred to a bunch of different services that my ex, who, the one I was on the reality show with, never had to participate in while on.
There should be a What's Your Impact on Bingo
parole, but me with no criminal record am having to participate in, or they're extorting me to not let me be around my children. So some of them are, there's a whole bunch of different things they're extorting me to do. One of them is some sort of drug rehabilitation. I don't even do drugs. I've never been addicted to anything in my entire life, ever. Not a substance. I've been addicted to love. I've been addicted to a person. I've been addicted to a feeling, complacency, happiness, peace. But I've never been addicted to a substance in my entire life. Never, not once, ever. There is never.
She just does a bunch of substances. She's not addicted to anything, though.
Never been a substance that I was like, oh my gosh, I just can't do it without this. I must take this. Never. It's just never happened, ever. Never, ever, ever. So I'm doing that. Which how do I rather, as a person who's never been addicted, how do I go into addiction therapy with an open mind while looking at all the trash around me, actively using, going home to their family?
So that's the extortion. The fucking attorney was like, if you go to drug counseling, you can get your kid. And then she was like, I've never been addicted to drugs in my life. They're just in my system, okay? I shouldn't have to go to drug counseling. I don't that's something.
Families and children sitting in the comments saying really nasty things. And none of them are being asked to participate in any of those sort of programs. It's weird, isn't it? It's almost as if there's some sort of incentive to misbehave, is how it feels. So I've been going to church and doing everything that I can think of to walk that straight and narrow, waiting for our housing situation to become permanent. We're at this shelter here. This is our 4th shelter since we got accepted into the shelter system in February, 2 days after Weston was born. And as I briefly discussed in this live, that followed approximately 2 years of me living in various capacities of homelessness, whether it was the backseat of my vehicle, an Airbnb, a hotel room. I spent approximately $40,000 to $50,000 on Airbnbs, hotels, et cetera, and so forth. I paid off my vehicle and then it was stolen from me. I mean, you've got to be a real lowlife to steal someone's car from them when they're...
How do we figure out who the simps are? I mean, like, I don't want anyone to go after like the simps or anything, but I don't know why you would waste your money on this lady. Like, you see what it goes towards, right? Like, I don't know. I can't like. Maybe there's just like people who will give anybody money. I really don't know. I don't know. I have heard though that like she modded someone she wasn't supposed to have, and they were kind of blocking her sims. Like she didn't notice. So that's funny. But yeah, no, I can't wrap my mind around like who would spend their hard-earned money watching Heather wasted on tinfoil and air duster.
And they're living in it, right? Don't you agree? But not before it was mechanically and cosmetically destroyed. The first time I was parked in a gated community in Barrington, Illinois. I had never been there before in my entire life. Yeah, and probably. This person said that he was going, to keep me safe. It was an older gentleman. He offered me a job working home health care. He was diabetic, among other issues and ailments, and had a difficult time, not drinking, and needed a designated driver, which I'm a fantastic driver, and cleaning and the smell of life.
Yeah, she's such a fantastic driver. She's never licensed anymore. And we've seen her be chased by the cops or whatever until the cops gave up chasing her. That's how good of a driver she maybe that is a sign of a good driver. She got away. She got away from the cops, Grand Theft Auto style. But she still lost her fucking license. Great driver.
Like fabuloso, and like
pulls up beside people, shaking the phone, like, help me, and then drives off. Ballin' driver.
Just cleanliness. That's my jam. So I was all for it. And my vehicle was parked in this gated community that no one had ever visited me.
Also the love after lockup driving. Also she used to like just live stream. I would be like, how is she like driving? Like same with Dylan does like the whole, he's like holding his phone and then something else, and like I don't know, they must be driving with their knees. It's possible you can drive with your knee.
Me in, or knew that I lived in, and someone came to the car while I was asleep and put a 6-point star on the bumper and then a 5-point, like kind of like a
butthole,
like 2 of these and 2 of these, almost like a hashtag, but with 5 lines right next to it, like huge on the bumper, like this big. And I reported it to law enforcement. And that was one of many, 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 many times that my vehicle was sabotaged before it ultimately was destroyed. And I would just keep repairing it and repairing it and repairing it and repairing it and repairing it. But they ultimately ended up destroying it, mechanically sabotaging it while I was driving back from a job that I had obtained in Tampa Bay, Florida, I was working at this place called Rose Bar, and I was on my way back home to Chicago, and someone put some sort of some sort of like, I don't know if it was
Little Dylan? I don't I don't know. Who was Dave?
antifreeze or something like that in those little areas. I had just had an oil change, so it definitely couldn't have been the oil change. And they blew up something in my car. And I treated this car like it was my baby. And I took the car to this place called a Benz Tire and Auto in Valdosta, Georgia.
I didn't know that the police always go chasing people who put citizens at risk. They get the license plate and then they come back at them another time. Like, if I'm a criminal, though, like, I would just ditch the car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I, let's say, I'm not, this isn't any drug advice. I'm just spitballing. But let's say I was, like, running a bunch of drugs. If all I have to do is drive like a crazy person until I get to, like, my destination, and then I can fucking, like, get rid of the drugs and I can get rid of the car, like, how are they going to find me? How are they going to find me? They could maybe, like, ID a blurry face of mine going, or something, right? But unless I'm Heather Gillespie and I'm live streaming the whole incident. But, like, I didn't know. I thought they would have, like, they just are supposed to pursue until they, like, get them, or, like, they lose them. And maybe this is me being naive. In every cop show I've ever seen, that's what happens.
And the guy, it was like a small mom and pop shop, and the guy was super cool. And he's like, oh, no worries. You can leave your car here as long as you need to. He had this huge, like, acre, like, God only knows how many acre plot of land where all these cars were parked. Like 1 million cars were parked there. And he said, it's going to be $2,000 for us to fix your car. And I'm like, oh God, okay, it's not that bad. I can get it, but I need to go home and go to work first, And I was living in the car at the time, so it was terrifying. So I start getting the money, and I call about a year later, and the guy said, yeah, we still have the car, but we had to move it to another lot. No problem. The owner of the lot is a really...
She wonders why the baby got taken away. She's treating the baby. I treated that car like my baby. That car was like, when I seen on Love After Lockup, it was already like hit and dented a bunch. Like before she was driving over the curbs and shit in one-way streets and fucking... I don't know. I don't know what else she... I think she said she just ran into the ground. I don't think she has gotten to like a crash or anything. It was like the final nail in the coffin for it. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be like describing the way I treated that car as like the way I would treat a baby.
A really cool guy. He's only going to charge you $50 to tow it back here. And then the $2,000 that we discussed. And I said, oh, thank you, God. And I called and confirmed with the guy. He said, yeah, no big deal. I told him the entire, issue and what was going on. That I was back in Chicago, that it would probably take me another like 6 months to raise the money and get down there to pick it up. And he said, no problem at all. And I called after 6 months and I spoke to that same guy who was supposedly owner of the lot. And he said a different name. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like the original guy that I spoke with. And I'm like, are you sure you're the owner of the lot? And he's like, yeah. And so doesn't work here anymore. I have the names all written down in my record, but he's like, so-and-so doesn't work here. I'm like, that guy didn't work there. He owned the lot. He was an older gentleman, probably 70, 80 years old. And he said I could keep the car there. And the guy goes, we sold your car at auction.
Yeah, because you never picked it up. Yeah, there's a video of her admitting the engine blew up. And she also, there's this guy, I can't remember his name. I think it's Ed. It could be, I think it's someone who starts with an E, Edward or Edwin. I could be wrong completely, but she'll ask for help. She'll send out like this mass email asking everyone in like her personal life or her past life for help. And this one guy always claps back and is like, fuck you. You told me you wrecked the car and everything. Just basically calling her out on her shit. And there's 2 times I've seen him clap back. And he references like, yeah, you told me and you told everyone that you busted the car.
I said, you sold my car at auction. You just got done. The guy just got done telling me, the owner of the lot and the owner of Ben's just got done telling me multiple times that whenever I was able to come back for the car, I could come back for my car. I have a title in my name and I satisfied a loan through Capital One. I didn't sell you the car. You just stole my car. Another thing that police and officials have been unable to help me with. But yeah, so they stole my car and I had nowhere to live. And
Eric, it was Ed. It was either Ed or Eric. It was an E name. Watch it be something else. Watch it be Aaron. Aaron could start with an E.
Approximately a year after that is when I met Xavier. That last year was really rough. You know, I met another person, a military person who was also a banker, and told me again, like, we have interest in your case. We want to help you win this case, or these cases of all of this abusiveness by regular people as well as officials, you know, and we're going to help you. And as I said, it's been a mix. Some of them have been government officials who have helped me, and some of them have been, you know, police who have helped me. But then there's also been government officials and police who have harmed me. And that's why I always call it corruption traps. But
or Gog Magog. They're not the real police. They're Gog Magog, or what is it? Gog. It's gibberish to me, but it's something.
This person who was a banker, he said, we're going to help you. We're going to get you into an apartment and everything's going to be okay. And he gave me a car to drive. And
I don't remember her squatting in a lady's house, but she was like squatting at some guy's house. I don't know. They're like, there's people renovating it or something. They came in and they're like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm allowed to be here. But there's speculation that she just seen people going in and out of the apartment and then just like kind of slipped in when they were like out for lunch or something. And I was like, I'm supposed to be here. Dave in Switzerland gave me the okay.
Paid my rent up front, got a lease in my name alone, got me everything I needed.
Gang of my God. Yeah, that's.
And I was laying in that apartment and I was thinking, this cannot be it for me. You know, I have way too many resumes going out on a regular basis. I have way too much experience, education, and way too big of a support group, way too many people who know what I've gone through, way too many people who have seen my struggle, who know the adversity that I've lived through, who know, you know, that I'm a hard worker and a good mother and a great mother and an amazing, you know, resilient individual. But it continued to worsen, you know, and it definitely continued to worsen. And I was thrown out of my apartment for no reason, no legal reason. It was
just knows it. And then the guy took my car back. It wasn't even mine, just because I was driving around high on drugs and duster and chasing my kid's school bus. Nefarious. Heather, if she was
terrifying time. I had nowhere to go. I had no car. I had no home. I had nowhere to go. And I'm not like a person who's like used to just being homeless. Like, I guess there are people out here who are houseless, they call themselves, but they have like a wide like variety of resources that they're used to working with and like friends and support group where they can go. I had none of that. Like, I had never been, you know, homeless.
Jesus jumping Jehovah's Witnesses. I pray to Jehovah God. I miss like when she would go on like a monologue rant and then just be, at the end of it be like, amen. And we'd be like that. Whoa. I didn't know we were praying. I didn't know that was a fucking prayer there. Because there'd be swear words in the prayer. There'd be like, you know, her wanting to kill people in the prayer. It was very, if you were like, I don't know what that game show is where they like say something and then you're supposed to guess what the thing is. Like, I wouldn't have guessed prayer, you know?
So I was very scared, and I got sexually abused during this time, and I got beaten up during this time, and I got robbed for all of my belongings during this time, my vehicle, my clothing, all the money I had with me, everything. And when I met Xavier, I had like 5 Rubbermaid bins worth of stuff, a couple of bags, a brand new air mattress. Oh no, I had sold the air mattress. I had a sidewalk sale. All of my production equipment from my content sales, lighting, tripods, like selfie sticks and tripods with the halo ring lights and all of that. Like, I had so much stuff, and a toaster oven, like so much stuff. And my belongings got, my laptop, all of it. My belongings got all stolen from outside of Xavier's father's house. So I had nothing at all. I had 1 bag over my arm with maybe like 3 pairs of pants and 2 shirts when I left. And it was awful. I got a job working at this place called Getir. I was pregnant with twins on birth control. And the whole time, you guys, I'm working making money, it's going directly back to Airbnb. So I get a check for like 500 after taxes, and an Airbnb for 2 weeks is 500 before taxes. You know, so we're having to like ask his dad for like 30, 40 extra dollars so that we could not be outside. It's winter and I'm pregnant. It was terrible, terrible. And all the time we're thinking, someone else put it in these words, that there's got to be a binder for this. You know, like there has to be some sort of protocol for situations and circumstances as such.
What?
But there's not. There's probably supposed to be
A protocol for what is that about?
But there's not. And for the first time in my life, I felt completely abandoned and just like I was living in some surreal alternative reality that was not like the reality that I knew. And it was at that time also that I started becoming defensive when people would say that I was privileged. And I would say to them, I'm not privileged. And I would get like super upset over it. Like I'm homeless and I'm dealing with all this stuff. But I was still privileged in the respect that they were discussing it, because what they were talking about was the privilege of not knowing that all of this adversity exists. That's what they mean. That's what they mean when they were calling me privileged. Even though I was poor.
Which they do you think this is?
Poor and homeless at that time that they were calling me that, they were exposing me to this entire demographic of person who was used to living through that, which I had never been. I had never been heckled and harassed and bullied. Like, who bullies? How old do you have to be to bully? And if this is AI that's bullying, we have an even bigger problem. And
yeah, it's the AI. The AI has gone rogue, and they were like, we were programmed to help solve problems. We're just going to go after Heather Gillespie, though. We're rogue AI bots going after Heather Gillespie.
Even bigger problem. But the bullying from online was translating to bullying in real life, and that bullying was turning into physical assault and sexual assault. And we still have not been able to resolve those issues. So fast forward 2 years from that time, I gave birth to my son, Weston Mateo Gillespie. The whole time I've seen my regular primary care physician on a regular basis so that I make sure I'm updating my chart always with what's going on, what environmental circumstances I'm dealing with, what sort of, physical things.
I've never seen a homeless person as bad as Heather. Like, Heather wake up, do the same thing every fucking day. Think go to get her something different. Was literally waiting for the sponsors to just give her keys to an apartment. The day that she had the baby, it's crazy. Delusion.
Things are hindering my elevation or my reunification with the workforce or my primary home or my family, et cetera, and so forth. And I'm going into detail and I'm typing and I'm writing and I'm reaching out to domestic abuse advocates, and I'm reaching out to human sex trafficking advocates, and I'm reaching out to law enforcement, and I'm reaching out to the state's attorneys, and I'm reaching out to everyone. And it was not until every single time we called 311, they kept saying, once you have your baby, you'll be placed in a shelter. And from there, you'll get an apartment. Keep calling. And I kept calling and calling and calling and calling and calling.
How come we never heard that conversation? How come she recorded all the other conversations, but we never got to hear that one? Like, it's interesting to me.
And when Weston was 2 days old, we got accepted into a shelter, not because they helped us at the hospital, not because they helped us at the police station. I kept on calling, and it was probably like my 1,000th call. And they finally said, okay, we have a place for you. And I was like, oh my God. I walked 8 miles when my son was 2 days old. 8 miles, 8 miles on foot. 2 days postpartum. What type of an audience makes fun of someone who's enduring some sort of tragedy like that? How do we isolate the audience that participates in that type of bullying and put them in a group of their own so that they can go against one another rather than the peaceful, proactive, intelligent, kind, caring individuals? VLAW are the acronyms of my children, VLAW. V Law, Viviana Lewis, Alexis Weston, my entire heart, everything that I love about this world. V Law, virtual law. I didn't plan that.
It's not virtual law. It's the acronym of her kids. That's why I was like, why the fuck did she forget what it was? Now it's virtual law. Okay.
So we finally made it into housing, and they told us at the first place we went to, we've been to place now, Shield, Believe, Olive Branch, and here. Yeah, this is our fourth place that we've been to since February. And they told us that we would be here until we were given our apartment or a townhome. They said they assess the needs of your family, the family size, et cetera, and so forth. And then they give you your apartment or your townhome.
More like versus the law. Yeah, no, for real. But like, I don't like listing off her kids' names. I don't know why she does, but like, it's, yeah, that's the acronym of her names.
So we're waiting for that still. And in the meantime, I'm doing all of these services. And then I look onto social media and I scroll through an array of people getting drunk, people bathing in 50-gallon tubs of ramen noodles mixed with water, people filling up pools with Orbeez.
Oh, she just forgot if the one was at the beginning or the end. She should still know that too, because it's always been the one Heather G. And then I don't know. If I just feel like I shouldn't remember, because I have a hard time since you switched it to one HG VLAW. Like, oh, it was good. I can't remember what the other one was. It was something weird. And I was like, what? Oh, I know. I think it was like Coco Chanel YSL. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, like, what the hell's a Coco Chanel YSL if like you're looking for Heather Gillespie, right? In my opinion, I don't know. She just got this weird branding. GoPro Solo. Whoa.
People turning their parents' living room into a bar with a jacuzzi inside. People getting into street fights. People going to the nightclub and racing each other and shot taking. People smoking drugs. People, riding their wheelie motorcycles down the street on one tire. And this is what I scroll through. And I say to myself, why am I seeing this? I talk about things like breast pumping and being, a good mother and what to do with an infant child and all of the lessons I've learned in homelessness and also in employment, as well as in entrepreneurship and in public speaking, and all of the ways that I've been able to expand upon my knowledge and expertise in all of those areas respectively.
She's mad the algorithm isn't showing her what she wants. I don't think does he? I don't think the algorithm is like curating your content based off of like the content that you create. I think it's curating it based off of what you're liking and disliking. I could be crazy. Call me crazy. I don't think like it's sophisticated enough to know like the difference unless it's categorized as such, or it's just like a well-known channel. I don't know what she's bitching about. Just go look for that yourself then. If you find like other moms, homeless mom, maybe it's because it's such a small niche. You're basically dominating it, Heather. Homeless breastfeeding moms that like are delusional. I don't think there's a lot of other creators like you out here.
And I don't understand what's going on in the world. I don't understand what kind of a world we're living in where someone like myself, under the circumstances and situation that I am dealing with and have dealt with, have the outcome that I have, while all of these other people seem to celebrate their tyranny, their disobedience, their aversity, or their rebellion to traditional societal norms. And it's confusing for me, I pray that technology most certainly.
I do vaguely remember that. We did listen to that podcast. It was I think it was one of the first streams I ever did on Heather. That podcast is, I got the stream demonetized. Like I can't play it more than once, unfortunately. I think like we actually did it in 2 streams, but both of them, it was like, this is too crazy. She would go on about like her hamburger kitten, you know. it was something.
Certainly TikTok will hurry up. I think it's disgusting to have an app like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter that you can't control. I think that we have far too many technologists.
Yeah, I remember when she was Googling how to like give yourself a black market abortion or something. Her search history is always interesting.
Who know how to program algorithms and also know how to protect everyone from internet trolls. And I think that internet trolls are a different category than people who are harassing, following, baiting, instigating, bullying with intention. I also think it's funny that I ignore 99% of the disgusting, nasty comments that come through. But the second I make one comment back and it fails in comparison, has absolutely, when we're talking about who knows how to be a nastier, more mean, disgusting individual, I do not win by any means. The things I say.
The hamburger scarred me. That's why. I'll never forget.
Are overall and in general far less combative and offensive than the things that are being said to me. Yet the things that are being sent to me are allowed to come through. Mm-hmm. And I make one comment back and immediately it's flagged and I get a warning on my account.
Maybe you just don't know how to flag accounts, or the accounts you're flagging are like alt accounts, throwaway accounts that they don't give a shit if they get banned or not. Like, don't engage. Don't engage. Like, I don't even know why Heather lives in this world. She lives in this world where like all she focuses on is the negative. If she was smart, she could rebrand herself. Like if she was just good at grifting, I guess, at scamming, she could just be like, I'm not even going to pay attention to them. But she like, it obviously affects her, but she's also not like the greatest of people. So I don't know. I don't think like the criticism would get to her as much if it were invalid, right? Like if people were just hurling nonsense at her that had literally no basis in reality, like I don't think she would care, but it's getting to her because like it's kind of, it's shattering the illusion she's portraying, right?
Why? You guys, why? Human suffering is not necessary. Suffering is not necessary to the human experience. If someone thinks it is necessary to the human experience, I invite them to be on the receiving end of the bullying. For someone like myself who agrees it's not necessary to the human experience, I invite AI, artificial intelligence, and the programmers for TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all of the others to step up. We should not be getting bullied online. I'm a 37-year-old woman capable of articulating, who has been articulating for 5 years exactly what it means to be bullied on the internet and off of the internet with very little relief. As I've said about convicts looking for employment, as I've said about people who cannot articulate, as I've said about people without papers to work in this country, I'll say it again and apply it in the context of here online.
Yeah, I agree. It's not bullying to call out lies. I think like if you're going to give this person money, you should probably be aware of like what they're actually about. And if the person still wants to give them money after them, whatever, like that's their money. But like, I don't know. I don't think like, I think she preys on people who, if this is your first time seeing Heather and you're actually like, you know, giving her a fair shake, you'd be like, maybe she's a little crazy, but there might be some truth to what she's saying. I feel bad for her. Maybe if she had some money, she'd be able to make her life different. If you didn't know of her like past 4 years of this shit. Yeah, that's what, like, I can't imagine there being like, is there real simps that know of everything and they're just like, I love Heather. I'm going to give her money anyways. I'm going to go to my I don't know. I don't know what kind of like profession a person like this would have. I'm gonna go to my programming job and then just give half of my money to Heather Gillespie because I love watching this. It's just like, I don't know.
A child, how would they defend themselves or protect themselves from this type of adversity, from this type of bullying? If I'm clearly communicating repeatedly and relentlessly that this is wrong, and yet it's continued to go on, and it's allowed
Savior complex. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, someone with a savior complex. I can see that.
to continue to go on. What chance does our generation, you know, underneath, or generation before, after rather, have to combat this type of bullying? Our kids are going to school with a class of 30 and then jumping on TikTok with an audience of 30 billion million.
Not really. It's saturated. TikTok, you got to pay to get your shit out there now. At least unless you're someone like Heather here, who like people will actually like seek out your stuff. If you don't have some kind of like external drive to it, I don't think like TikTok's really pushing like homegrown content, I guess you could say. What was my point to that? Oh, like there's no 30. First off, did she say 30 billion? I might have to put that back. Hold on.
Are going to school with a class of 30 and then jumping on TikTok with an audience of 30 billion million.
Yeah, there's not 30 billion people on the planet, so like she's already kind of fucked up there. Yeah, no. It's like when King Cobra was like, when I get on the guitar YouTubes, and there's 10 million people all screaming Cobra, Cobra. Like there's 30 billion. What are you talking about? No, Heather, I'd say Heather probably has like 1,000 to 2,000 people who just want to watch the train wreck, but like they're not always there all the time. Maybe one day, like everything will like line up perfectly, and she'll be like, look how many people. Y'all still don't like me. I don't know. She's got to try something different.
If social media doesn't have the type of filtering, the law to silence those types of bullying and get rid of that type of behavior after my 4-5 years personal experience of reporting on it, then it should be banned. And I don't think it needs to get to the point of banning it, because I know that there are methods to prevent the bullying. So what is going on and how?
Banning people. Like you can ban people. You can ban words. Like really, it just becomes about how much time does a person have and how many accounts can they make. And then like really, there's tools in place. I guess like you can maybe automate those tools, but I wouldn't trust like a bot. There is already kind of like YouTube, for instance, will give me an option of like standard moderation, high moderation, no moderation, custom moderation, or whatever, right? So like there is technically, I guess, already AI in place where like if it sees offensive language, it's just gonna block your comment completely. So like I think Heather just doesn't have any moderation on, so she can play the victim, especially on TikTok is really bad for that kind of stuff. Like they'll ban users just for like DMing to other users, not friendly language, but like they're friends. Like it's just like saying swear words in DMs. I've heard of people getting like shadow banned or getting strikes on their channel for like, or page or whatever you call it on TikTok for like shit like that. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Heather's just complaining about non-issues as usual.
Do we get answers? In the world, there are always going to be people who...
It's just like GoPro Solo. Vila is like GoPro Solo. What the fuck is GoPro Solo mean? I've never seen her even use a GoPro camera.
Agree with you and see things from your perspective, and people who don't. Why would social media algorithms intentionally run to funnel people who don't agree into my account? Why wouldn't social media algorithms run in a way that puts me into groups with like-minded individuals so that I can have support systems in the same way that everyone else wants to have them? So on this father...
Yeah, there's this guy. I don't know his name actually, but I don't really want to promote his stuff too much just because I don't know how ethical I feel about the content he does. Basically, he just doxes people. He's like, I don't like what this person did. Internet, you go find out who they are for me. But he was bitching about TikTok kind of being a little annoying like that because his page got like delisted or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name. I made him sound like a little worse than I guess usual. He'll find someone really, really bad. Like he'll find someone who like did something that's like heinous, like beat up a dog or something, right? And he's like, fuck this guy. You guys are gonna find out who he is. And then I don't know what he does with the information, but that's like his shtick. And so he was bitching about that. That's my information source on the TikTok thing. I can only speak on YouTube. I really only make content on YouTube. Everywhere else kind of sucks.
Father's Day. I just really think that it's important for everyone to hold on, you guys. They're asking me to verify. There we go. I just think that it's really important that everyone who has exposed themselves as an abusive bully is wow, thank you. What is that? Cool. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. But yeah, I just think that everyone who has exposed themselves, thank you so much. What do I do with these, you guys? Wow.
She doesn't look that happy. Her voice sounded happy, but look at her face. Her face is like, thanks. Wow. Thanks, guys. I'm so happy. Yeah, you know what I mean? Is that what she's trying to do? I don't know how much. Do you guys know how much she made? I don't even know if this is because it's upside down. It looks like 0 out of 5 hearts. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I really don't know TikTok that well.
I just really want to urge everyone, and I really hope for everyone who's joined me.
You think it's fake? I was gonna say I don't see any actual like gifts or nothing
on YouTube. You know that I'm doing AI classes and cybersecurity classes. I don't think these should be areas of discussion anymore because I think they should be controlled. We don't need to ban social media. We need to run the same algorithms that we run in marketing success. Oh, you're selling, hairbrushes.
Oh, do you guys mean like the $11 is fake? Like Xavier's on another phone, like sending her donations to get it rolling, like kind of thing? You think that's what's going on?
Let's put your product into a whole bunch of people in a market demographic of people who will buy hairbrushes. Your algorithms are going to look for people who are bald, right? And not try to sell them the hairbrush. We have that technology. Then we have the technology to keep people who are on here saying you're ugly, you're fat, your tooth is ugly, you're homeless.
Is she saying like we have the technology to make a hairbrush? We have the technology to like make sophisticated AI to weed out bullying? That's something.
You're this, you're that. We can get them off of here as well. Let's do that, shall we? Oh my goodness, why have I not? This is not a lot of milk for the amount of time I've been pumping. We've been on here for a while, haven't we? How long have I been on here? How long have we been on here? How long have we been here? I can't tell. I'm so like not familiar with TikTok. Every single time I get on TikTok, I feel like these people like say the most terrible things, like awful things. And so I lose my motivation to learn the platform, which is not the way it's supposed to be. Gary Vee says, continue marketing on your 5 channels and do not be deterred by the haters. So I really haven't had much experience with TikTok. I did ask for those little hearts with hands, you guys. I wish that someone would give me those. Is that money or like, what do you use that for? Do you guys use that for TikTok shop? Woo, thank you, Lisa. Lisa sent a rose. Lisa sent a rose. Lisa, what's a prom scam? Don't give her the money. Don't send her anything. We've been on here longer than you've been a parent. Prom money, prom money. Gee, what's that? Money, you guys, 2 cent prom money. Can X explain his eyebrows, teeth? Your daughter said you didn't give her any money for prom. Your own daughter, prom why? I sent you $1.50. Where is your newborn baby? Did you get your hair highlighted? Huffington. You asked for money for prom for Viv and didn't give it to her. Tent Life is calling. Prom money. Just got the number 2 gifter, Savage. Free Weston Mateo, Little Eggs, Montoya, IDOC Y12173. From the lines coming in strong. This is fun. Duster, Truth, Facts. Case, Coleman, Casa Coleman, here you come. Kids are safe. Why doesn't your son have his father's last name? Adoption, adoption. Oh shit, we got her attention. I can't believe she's reading comments. Why are you unemployed? Poor baby is being raised by a stranger. Air Duster. Thank you for finally reading comments. You are never getting Rico back. We heard you smoking. Duster, abortion, lazy. This is gold. The grandma has the baby. You feed 1 out of 4 kids. You are able to cash out gifts before I send. Are you able to cash out gifts before I send? I think so. Tent is calling, sweetheart. What is your name, man? And this is what I mean. How is law enforcement going to allow this to continue for 5 years? Where are we living? Where there are people in society who are so lonely, miserable, and sad that they can go on my live account and slander and...
I don't think I've ever heard her read the comments before, other than like she's mentioned them. She's mentioned them a couple times. She'd be like, I know these comments saying like Xavier's dick or something like that, or all these eggplant emojis. I think she acknowledged that, but she actually, I'm proud of her. She actually managed to like read off a couple.
And libel and harass and et cetera and so forth. I have never run a scam on any of my social medias. You guys want to know about scams? You want me to teach you how to scam? I don't know how. If I was a fucking con artist, don't you think I would be not living in a shelter, you moron?
She's getting upset. I don't know. That's what it was.
That's not nice. God, please help me. I'm sinking to their level. Let's use common sense. If a person knows how to be a scam artist, they're probably not living in a tent, right?
I don't know. I mean, like if I were a scam artist, I probably would not be living in a tent. But for my scam to work, I would go pretend to live in a tent, I guess, to gain sympathy and money and stuff. So I don't know, Heather. maybe I don't know. Maybe she's too stupid to realize how to scam.
Duh. So stupid. Should I say it in Spanish?
Sure.
Si alguien es una persona que, yo no sé cómo se dice scam artist en español, pero si alguien está haciendo algo malo para dinero, ellos van a tener dinero para comprar una casa. ¿Verdad? Oh, ¿no sabes? Porque eres una...
Someone let me know if she's like speaking Spanish, right?
Horrible, grosero, hablando mal. ¿Por cuál razón? Yo no sé, pero estas personas están como 5 personas malas por una buena. Muchas gracias para la buena que está aquí. Muchas gracias.
What? I don't know. You guys probably remember this. You remember the SAP button on the remote and it would switch the fucking language? I need that right now. I have no idea what she's saying.
What else is going on before I finish pumping? It's Father's Day, Xavier's first Father's Day. My experience, if you guys know, with regards to the employment comment, I wish I could tell you. I have a lot of experience in healthcare. My children have lived with me their entire lives from birth all the way until 2020 when you know who, the person I did the appearance of the reality show with, got home and became incredibly abusive. And this is always going to be my main thing. Like, how does a person come home on parole, use drugs and alcohol, and you guys can Google. I believe he had an issue with his next person who her name is Marissa, and it was like Marissa and Dylan comment on Chicago police kicking down the door, finding tons of drugs and guns, blah, blah, blah. But yet I was the one who got thrown into a tent and forced to take all of these services. And it's been 5 years since.
You didn't get thrown into a tent though. Like you were living out of your car, which was, I think, by choice, living out of car and gyms. And then you either ran out of like sugar daddies to leech apartments off of. And then you found Xavier and you guys came up with the idea to live in a tent. No one threw you in a fucking tent. What are you talking about? What was the other thing? Hold on.
Since all of this began,
she's mad that like Dylan and Marissa like have their shit in the news or whatever, or like she's just notified of it. Like she thought that the Vine notification for like Dylan's court date was like for her, but it was for Marissa, like their domestic disputes. But yeah, like this has nothing to do with you, Heather. Like what are you talking about? She's like, they threw me in the tent, but not Dylan and Marissa. Like Dylan and Marissa should be in the tent. You and Xavier should be in their apartment having these fights. Is that what I'm getting?
I have no criminal record. I have never done anything like that in my life. I think I've held a gun once in real life, and it was someone's real legal gun. Like I didn't hold it at a person. I just like looked at it. I've never owned a gun or had a gun in my house. I've never been distributing like any sort of drug paraphernalias or like doing anything of the sort. But yet here we are, you know? And then they're like, well, don't compare your situation. Well, when these people jump on their lives, are they dealing with like 1,000 people addressing them in ways that are bullying and negative? They're not. You know, they're not. And they're using their social medias in ways that I historically have been successful in use for business.
Did she do that? She pitched her tent in front of Dylan and Marissa's apartment building?
For making money, for advertising a product, a service, an idea, a thought. That's what social media is to me. For some people, social media is a group of friends who care about them. I want my social media to be a supportive place. How do I like find someone? It shouldn't even have to be a person's job to ban people who are nasty. There should be a moderator who algorithmically already knows how to remove these people who continue on with the same comments, especially.
Yeah, I mean, there is already.
After 5 years of doing this, like you have to have nothing.
Come to YouTube. I don't know about Instagram and TikTok. Come to YouTube. I'll teach you how it works. Like, what are you talking about?
You want to talk about having nothing going on in your life? 5 years of harassing a person who's literally done nothing to you, nothing at all, ever. Like, why? What is your problem? And I'm asking from the bottom of my heart because I could probably like help you find a therapist if you want one. You know, if you are having these issues of self-hatred that boil over to the point where you take effort and pleasure to go into someone else's safe space, i.e. this is my TikTok. So this is my safe space to talk about things I want to talk about. And if you don't want to.
Well, that's kind of mean. I don't think she should be putting fucking air duster in front of her tent, but Jesus, jumping.
Talk about those things, you could just go like this. Boop, 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 boop. You know, and
Spider-Man Heather coming in nicely tubes.
And there you go. Guess what? There's like a billion other creators talking about stuff that you might resonate with more or want to hear about. You don't have to be here hablando groserías for no reason.
Well, she hates banning when she gets banned, right? But she wants all these other people banned. Automatically. Like, not even just, like, why does it keep doing that? Not even by her hand. She wants like them to just automatically know, ban this person.
Keep on scrolling, please. This is definitely going to affect my milk quality. Thank you guys for sending me gifts. That's so dope. This is my very first time knowing about gifts. I think I've been sent like 4 or 5 other gifts before, and I really don't know what they're like supposed to be for or how you cash them out. But I'm definitely interested in continuing to learn about that, as I am interested in furthering the algorithmic efficiency, effectiveness of banning all bullies from all social medias. Why are we tripping about Donald Trump having a Twitter and saying he's not allowed to be on? I don't really think that that should be allowed. I don't think that someone running for public office should ever be allowed to be banned, but we're banning him and allowing people who are bullies to stay on. Why wouldn't we ban all the bullies? And like that runs deep, like use biometrics to scan their pupil from their device, whatever device they're using. If they're a mean, nasty person repeatedly, just go ahead and block them forever, right? Like, why can't we do that?
Blonde says, I think people find it crazy to see someone continuing lies on a regular basis. Go to North Korea then if you want free speech taken away for everyone else. I mean, yeah, it's a give and take, right? Like if Heather wants to lie every day, then like people can like say, hey, this is a lie, you know? So like, I mean, I don't think Heather should be banned off of, I don't know why she got banned off of TikTok for scamming. I don't know what the scam she did was. I know that her cash apps get taken down. I'd assume it's just for like fraudulent behavior, like positioning, like I need funds for XYZ when she doesn't. But obviously if Heather was banned, then I wouldn't be able to like see what she's up to and comment on it. So like that wouldn't help me. So yeah, like if she doesn't, like if she wants, that's why I say if she wants to continue lying, like then she has to like have the door open for criticism where people can call her out on her shit.
Oh, you're mean and nasty. Unless you want to be nice, you're not allowed here anymore. Like we have to teach these people. Xavier, you have pants on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm live. We have to teach these
We're gonna see a Spider-Man Xavier.
people that they are not allowed to be mean to anyone. Like just don't be mean, please. It's so nasty for no reason. For no reason. I'm struggling. Hello, do you not see me? I'm anxious a lot of the time. I miss my children. Like I wake up, you guys, and I like literally start freaking out. I'm like, I belong nowhere. Like I need to go. I need to be with my kids. I need my home back. That's how I feel, you know, and I have to work through those feelings on a daily basis. For someone who feels that way and is working through those feelings on a daily basis, why would you think that it was appropriate to go into their comments and be hateful to them? Like, what kind of nasty bottom feeders are you?
Did I miss Xavier walking by? That'd be unfortunate. Let me know if I missed. I was reading chat.
Really? But before we go off, I just want to go back on the subject of Father's Day. We do not really know what any person is experiencing in their life. If you are a father, if you have ever been a father, please do your best to be an amazing father. And the same if you're a mother, but since it's Father's Day, we'll continue talking about that because children deserve all the love and all the support. And while you're being a bully to a grown-up, just remember that that grown-up is someone's mom or dad most of the time.
That's the other thing too. I've seen her be really mean to other people, but she wants like to be treated in such high regard. It's interesting.
Someone's daughter or son all of the time. And you're just being so nasty and mean for no good reason. And it's like, do I have better things to do than talk about this? I don't think I do right now. As a matter of fact, I think that it is probably one of the best uses of my time right now to talk about how terrible these bullies have been, how disappointing it has been to be abused and go to authority who I'm supposed to trust and believe in and be able to rely on and not receive the assistance that I should have received. And then furthermore, if you're not receiving the support that you are supposed to receive in your, you know, from those types of channels, social media is a last like resort for a lot of kids and young adults. If we don't have anyone else to turn to, there is a giant pool of people, and there are a lot of good people who will give you a shoulder to cry on, or some support, or some resources, or become friends with you in real life even, you know, or maybe business partners, or whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. So I want to know from all of the AI people, I don't know who created TikTok, but why are you allowing bullies to continue to participate on TikTok and other platforms of social media? I love Facebook. I was just talking, Xavier has like some hard feelings towards Mark Zuckerberg.
So like we're past 2 hours right now, and there's 3 minutes left of this live, so I'm probably gonna like cap it at that, and then we can try to finish the other ones tomorrow. So let me know when you would want me to do that tomorrow, because it's the weekend, so I have a little more flexibility, a bit. So yeah, let me know. The first poll I did was I fucked it up.
Zuckerberg. I am so grateful for his invention. I don't really know the politics and don't want to know the politics of like everything that goes on with that, but I can tell you this. My apartment was flooded, and all of my kids, and I'm the type of mom that like I kept my children's umbilical cord stumps. All of my children have a baby book, and I literally kept my children's umbilical cord.
She's thank you for the 2, by the way. Not without my father. She's pimping Xavier just like Amy. Look it up. Yeah, I do know about Heather and that Amy person. They like private their Instagram and like unprivate it from time to time, exposing Dylan and Heather when she was with Dylan, doing a whole bunch of nefarious bad things. But you think she's pimping out Xavier now? I mean, Xavier is a trans man. I have pictures of him. Look at this. That sounds weird. Hold on a minute. I have to. Oh god, hold on. It's gonna make me Whoa, it's gonna make me screen share it a different way here. Window, from the window to the wow. Yeah, so this is like Xavier looking like a snack in someone's DMs. How do I zoom in on this? Zoom in. There we go. Whoa. No. I just want to move it over. Red Rover. So he's like sending women pictures of him without eyebrows looking like this. So maybe he's being pimped. I don't know. Shout out to BCG for catching this here, but who's to say at the end of the day? Let me get the other one back up here. I don't know why it makes me switch for things like that. Spider Heather.
Cord stumps. I taped them into my children's baby books, and I went hard. I crocheted a blanket for each of my children. I have like these detailed baby books for my kids, and they were destroyed in a flood or from Aunt Stacy's house. I don't even know what happened after that, but after the flood, I moved whatever I had.
After Aunt Stacy's house, everything's just been a blur ever since. She's that fucking show, man.
Left to Aunt Stacy's garage, and Aunt Stacy like literally like not her garage, her basement, which was Aunt Diane's basement. Rest in peace, Aunt Diane. And I don't know if I have them anymore. Do you know what Facebook is? Facebook is a virtual baby book for me and for my children. And it's something that I wish my parents had access to when I was a baby. Like, how interesting will it be for my kids when they're older to go on the internet and say, oh my goodness, this is how I looked. This is what we did. This is where we lived. This is what my life was like.
Why are we even getting into this?
That's such a gift. That is such a gift. So I'm a firm, huge advocate for social media, and it's
Bye, Aunt Stacy, Aunt Diane. I don't have my baby books anymore. Facebook is like my baby book. I thought she was gonna bitch about something, but now she's just like, social media is great. The trolls, though,
in my opinion, 1,000,000,000% more beneficial than it is harmful. We have children who are living in isolation or living in adversity or being bullied in real life, and they can come here, and this should always be a safe place for them to make friends who are in their, age range and appropriate level of understanding, to communicate with each other, to grow with, laugh with, engage with each other when maybe circumstances do not support that in their real life. There are kids who, maybe not even kids who live in bad neighborhoods, but kids who live in the house during summer, because how many of our kids go to school and the school
Why is she like slowly getting louder about this?
is like a babysitter? So when the parents are at work during the summer, they're like, you're in the house, door locked, you're not allowed to go outside. What a terrible way to spend your summer, right? But I get it. I was that kid a few summers, where my parents needed us to stay in the house because they were not going to be home and we needed to stay in the house. It doesn't have to just be like this severe thing. It does exist that there are neighborhoods that are not safe for children to go outside and play in. So the lines of
that's where it ends for me. So like, I don't know if like the next one would be a continuation, but like I can't get through more of these tonight. But I'll be back. I'll do more of these tomorrow. Let me stop that, Heather. What are you doing? Yeah, let me see what the poll was. Let me see what you guys are up to. Let's share this one instead. All right, so nighttime. Looks like it's going to be the nighttime, which is like the normal time to do things. It's probably going to be nighttime anyways. So no, that's good. So we'll do that then. We'll finish up the rest of the lives, and I guess I'll throw in the stories. But yeah, no, I hope you guys are having a great week. Mattering, yeah, okay. Yes, give me 1 second here. I will get, I think I have it on, where did it go here? I did not close it yet. I can just drag it over, actually. Let me, whoops. Oopsie doopsie. Give me 1 I swear I know what I'm doing most of the time. Here we go.
Black Betty. Rattering Bam. I'm a wild Black Betty. Mattering Bam. Black Betty had a child. Battering Ma'am. I'm the damn thing gone wild. Battering Ma'am. I'm said a word, not a mind. Battering Ram. I'm the damn thing gone blind. Bam,